invented jazz itself, Jelly Roll Morton. On the bandstand at Sweet Basil, he paid homage. "This next one's by Jelly Roll Morton," he said. "Not everyone used to like him. He'd stand on the corner all day bragging about being the best composer in the world. Of course, he could back it up. He wore a diamond in his front tooth, wore a $20 gold piece in the tips of his shoes. He didn't play in places like this, didn't play in the Waldorf Astoria. Mostly he played in bodegas. Bordellos, Doc, bordellos," the pianist Chuck Fold said with a practiced roll of the eyes. "Yeah, bordellos," Cheatham said, because he was also a pimp. Cheatham played for an hour or so, mainly New Orleans standards from his youth. In his off hours, he was making music with much younger musicians. He was not stuck in the past. He just met Nicholas Payton, a quicksilver trumpet player in his 20s, and soon they'd win a Grammy for their collaboration. Cheatham was mindful of time. He tapped his foot to the gunshot of the snare drum. He played just behind the pillowy pulse of the bass. He soloed in measured steps. He knew better than to overextend himself. His solos were brief, witty, resonant, and he took his leave before he lost his breath or his way. He did not need to strain in order to glow. When he used King Oliver's mute, it was to summon that distant elder, but always with attention to the song. Nothing maudlin, nothing academic about it. After the set, I had a chance to talk with Cheatham at a table in the back. "The truth is," he said, "I was a late bloomer. I didn't even know there was a place called New Orleans until 1926. Nashville was a two-college town, nothing to listen to, dead as hell in those days. But when I got to Chicago, that town was filled with New Orleans musicians. Louis Armstrong was inspiring everyone, me included." Before Cheatham headed back to the bandstand, I asked him if he'd be playing Sunday brunches at Sweet Basil in 10 years, when he'd be 100 years old. "I don't know," he said. "This place might not be standing in 10 years, but we'll see." The pieces in this volume were written over time for The New Yorker, and they're the result of my earliest enthusiasms. In every case, I encountered these artists in late career. The voices had weathered, and in nearly every case, the best songs and the best performances were well in the past. They were all grappling in music and in their own lives with their diminishing gifts and their mortality. Yet there was never any diminishment in the desire to make music, to hold the note. Just as I was collecting these pieces, one songwriter and performer who had long dodged my request to meet with her, Joni Mitchell, emerged at the Newport Folk Festival to play her first full set of music in 2 decades. Mitchell had been dealing for years with various ailments. In 2015, she suffered a brain aneurysm that nearly killed her. When she was a child, polio had left her unable to walk for a while. But as she told a reporter, the aneurysm took away a lot more, really. It took away my speech and my ability to walk. And I got my speech back quickly, but the walking, I'm still struggling with. Mitchell warmed up to playing again in public slowly. She began hosting private jams at her house in Los Angeles. Brandi Carlile, Paul McCartney, Chaka Khan, Bonnie Raitt, Herbie Hancock, and others came by to play, to talk, to sing. At Newport, a festival she last played in 1969, Mitchell took the stage in front of 10,000 people and was surrounded by a raft of musicians, including Carlile, Celise Henderson, Winona Judd, and Blake Mills. She sat in a magnificently garish armchair and sang a full set, from Carrie to The Circle Game. She pleased herself with songs of her own past, Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers' Why Do Fools Fall in Love, Gershwin's Summertime, and the Clovers' Love Potion No. 9. Her voice was far deeper than it had been when she recorded Blue, her masterpiece. But Brandi Carlile was there to provide the soprano filigree. Celise Henderson, playing guitar with the attack of Sister Rosetta Tharpe, delighted Joni with a uniquely jagged version of Help Me. Mitchell loved it all. The crowd, the companionship on stage, the sheer aliveness of the moment. And in the end, from the open air of Newport to the rest of us getting the full report on YouTube, it was the spectacle of Joni Mitchell